Welcome to something short and sweet on the Parsha. This week, Parshas Seitzei. The first halacha in the Parsha is that of the Eshes Yifas Toar. Jewish warrior goes out to battle. He's being seduced by a woman. How can he respond? And here is the one time that the Torah allows a person for a limited time to succumb to his Yetzer Hara. Lo dibra Torah ela keneged Yetzer Hara. And the hope is that he will bring her into his house. She will be stripped of her accoutrements, of her makeup, of her clothing, of her outward beauty, and ultimately he will send her away. The Ohr HaChaim HaKadosh, though, learns this psukim, this parsha, on a different level. He calls it derech remez. Perhaps you call it an esoteric level. And this is the way it goes. Ki Seitzei la milchama aleichem. Note, says Ohr HaChaim HaKadosh, la milchama, which means to the war. Which war do we speak of? The great war, the ultimate war, the war for which you and I have come down to this planet. And that is the battle with the Yetzer Hara. So a person wakes up one day and he says, I don't like this. I want to do something different. So he goes out to battle his Yetzer Tov with his Yetzer Hara. And what happens? When the son of Hashem Elokecha b'yadecha, HaKadosh Baruch Hu will give the Yetzer Hara over in your hands, even though alone the human being could not defeat the Yetzer Hara. But the Ohr HaChaim HaKadosh explains, but a person goes out to battle, HaKadosh Baruch Hu is going to help. For Ra'isa Bashivya, and then he sees in captivity Eshes Yifas Toar. He sees a beautiful woman, meaning he sees his soul. He went out to war, and all of a sudden he recognizes himself, that his soul has been in captivity. And it's a beauty, an absolute beauty. And he desires it. So the Ohr HaChaim explains that when a person has tripped up in sin, the nefesh is distant from the guf. The nefesh is removed in some measure from the guf. And negative spiritual forces take its place. So he sees this beautiful soul, his soul, and he desires it. He says, come back. Let's get together. Let's come back. And he wants to bring it. The nefesh, which has been disconnected, he wants to bring it back into himself. The Gilcha Esrosha. And he shaves her head. Hair represents negative spiritual forces, spiritual maladies. So he's bringing it in and he's working on himself. And he's going to shave her hair, which means he's going to get rid of that disease. For Asasa Esiponeha, he cuts her nails. Nails represent the klipos, spiritual, negative spiritual forces. Vehisira es simlas shivya me aleha. And through true tshuva, he's going to remove, to get rid of the spiritual baggage that has seeped into the soul in its place of impurity. Uvachsa es avia ve'es ima. And when the person unifies, body and soul coming together, a person coming back to himself. So the person cries as Avia for her father. Who's her father? HaKadosh Baruch Hu. He's disconnected himself from his creator. And now he's recognized how far he's gone. And he cries for the relationship with his father. The Esima, and he cries for the relationship with his mother, says the Or HaChaim HaKadosh, who's the mother? Knesset Yisrael. When a person sins, he not only distances himself from God, but he distances himself from Klal Yisrael. He has been removed in some measure from his role in Klal Yisrael. And he cries for his father, the Rabbanu Shalom, and for his mother, Yerech Yamim, for a month of days. Says the Or HaChaim HaKadosh, what's this month of days? Enough time to come back to himself. Enough time to do tshuva. And then the Or HaChaim HaKadosh finishes it up. And he says, O Yirmos, or perhaps that this is alluding to the Chodesh HaMiyuad L'Tshuva, that month which is designated for tshuva, Shehu Chodesh Elul, which is the month of Elul. Ki Seitzei Lamochama Aleivech. The month of Elul is designated for inspiration, for a person to wake up and say, hey, I want better for myself. I could be more. And when he does this, HaKadosh Baruch Hu responds. And he says, come along with me. I want you to see yourself. Like the Rambam says, Hibitu l'nafsho seichem. Recognize what you have under the hood. Recognize that soul. And a person is inspired. And he wants to come back to himself. And he realizes that he wants to be closer to Hashem, and he wants to be closer to Klal Yisrael and assume his role in the great mission of Klal Yisrael. That's the potential of Chodesh Elul. Thanks so much for listening. Have a wonderful Shabbos.